starting with Tom Brady, who suffered the worst loss in his career with his 3-interception game against the Saints. Now, Brady and new teammate Antonio Brown have an opportunity for redemption against the Panthers. The good news for Buccaneers fans is that Brady is 7-1 in his career following a loss of 20 points or more. So, Shannon, will Brady bounce back from what might have been the worst game of his career?
Well, Skip, I believe he'll be better because this team is really set up. I mean, sometimes you struggle, and then you catch the right team at the right time. And I believe the Carolina Panthers is the right team at the right time because what Brady struggles with, Skip, is pressure. And what the Carolina Panthers defense don't do very well is pressure the quarterback. They have 10 total sacks. 4 by one guy, Burns, who was the first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, out of Florida State. They only have 23 quarterback hits. So Brady should be able to stay upright, be able to survey the field without somebody sticking a helmet up under his chin. That's where he struggled. That's where he got into the problems last week, Skip. You look at the games in which he's lost. He's only lost 3, 6-3, which is a very good record that they have a little over the halfway point. New Orleans, first game, pressure. Chicago in Soldier Field, pressure. Last Sunday night in his home, pressure. And that's not what the Carolina Panthers do very well, Skip. I got some stats for you. You love stats. This is what Brady is against the pressure. His completion percentage is 33% against pressure. That's 32nd in the NFL. Now, there's only 32 quarterbacks. Put that here. Yards per attempt versus pressure, 3.1, 30th in the NFL. His QBR versus pressure is 5. It's Joe Flacco. I think somebody else. Who? Joe DiMaggio was number 5. Was that Gary? One of them guys was maybe Mantle. Anyway, Skip, that's not very good. And considering Carolina don't pressure very well, he should be able, like I said, survey. AB, you want it? Oh, Mike Evans, you need it. Chris Godwin, you need it. Hey, Gronk, I'm going to get you involved. Struggled a little bit last week. So, Skip, I don't see the Carolina. And plus, McCaffrey just came back, balled out against Kansas City. And he hurt his shoulder. Now, they said he might, but he's looking doubtful, looking like he's not going to play. They're different offense when he's on the field because he can run it, he can catch it. So they find a myriad of ways to get him the football. And with them being shorthanded like that, without McCaffrey, I believe Tom Brady, even though Mac does not play defense, I believe this defense is set up for Tom Brady to have a big day. So I don't see him struggling like he did last week.
So you are picking the visiting team.
Yes, I am.
The Buccaneers.
Yes.
Do you have a score?
I'm going to say 27-17.
17? Oh, so you have a cover.
Yeah.
Because it's a 6-point game.
I'm going to say 27.
Bucs by 6.
Yeah.
Really?
And they won't make the mistake they made last week and just run the ball 5 times.
So I have several issues with everything you just said. Point number 1, you, as usual, neglected the most important stat that just overcomes all the stats you just spat out on the table.
What?
Who was, going into Sunday night, the most or best protected quarterback in all the NFL? Who had the least pressure on him of any quarterback in the whole league coming into Sunday night? Guess who?
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
So just junk all those stats because they don't matter. Because against pressure, he had so little pressure on him. Yeah, you're right. He's the same at 43 that he was at 33, that he was at 23. Same in every way. His arm is just the same, and his one weakness is just the same. He is not mobile. So if at age 23, you got heat on him with 4 men, especially with 4, as the Saints did twice now, opener in that Sunday night game, 38-3, you're going to be able to beat him. He's going to be incredibly vulnerable because he's going to spit out all those stats back at you. He's not going to be very good. But it's hard if you protect him even semi-well, it's hard to get that kind of heat on him because the Saints on Sunday night pressured him 56% of the snaps. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You got a chance to win. But not only did they win, they just demolished.
Yes, but Skip, my point is a lot of quarterbacks struggle with pressure, but not to this degree, not with this severity. And if you look at the 3 games they've lost, all have been because of pressure. New Orleans, Chicago, New Orleans again. You're absolutely right. If they leave him upright, well, you're going to have a problem on your hands. And because Carolina don't pressure, they got 10 sacks.
Okay, and what have I also told you? Not only has he been the best protected quarterback, but they have been throwing the longest passes of any team in the league. It's no risk it, no biscuit offense. Tom Brady is running Bruce Arians' offense to a T, just like Jameis did a year ago when he led the whole league by far in turnovers. As I told you yesterday, in pure air distance, how far does the ball travel from your hand to the receiver, whether he catches it or not?
Right.
Tom Brady leads the league by far in air distance. So if you put those two together, he's been protected, but again, he's not dinking and dunking like he did at New England, right? Where he led the league in yards passing to the running backs, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now he's second to last in passes to running back yards.
Well, they're going to have, well, Skip, if you remember now, Skip, the way they drafted running backs is that they drafted running backs that were receivers. He went to a team that's not how they drafted running backs. So it's going to probably take him another year to get running backs that used to catching the ball out of the backfield. And the problem that they had Sunday, Skip, if you don't run the football, where's your play action? So now all of a sudden that intermediate stuff, the overrides that Scotty Miller and Gronk used to catch is not there.
Okay. So what amuses me about you is you just absolutely annihilate Tom Brady when he loses. And on Monday, I have never seen you gloat any harder than you gloated. Yes, you were. You were just rubbing it in all day long. That's fine because he was horrible, arguably the worst game of his career. But how can he bounce back with a new team and a new system and a coach who publicly ridicules him after losses?
He didn't ridicule him.
He ridiculed him.
He just said we need to play better.
It was sarcastic. it was pointed. It's like, don't look at me. What happened to the GOAT? You know?
Well, hold on. But that's the same argument you use. You tell him that he's going along for a great ride.
He should be, but he's not.
When they win, you say, oh, this is all Tom. When they lose, it's the defense. It's Bruce Arians. It's Byron Leftwich. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, you question whether Brady's even the GOAT. You have said for 4 straight years on this show that he should just call it a day and go home. Yeah. And yet you've got them bouncing back and winning by double digits at Carolina against a team that I have far more respect for than you happen to.
Skip, if they could rush the passer, you'd have me. But, Skip, they don't.
Well, I'm not going to bet against my man, but I am tempted to.
But hold on.
I'm tempted to take Carolina in 10.
You just told me that your guy, Brady, is better than my homeboy. Now, we just saw what my homeboy...
He's having a better year, says Pro Football Focus. I'm just going on what they say.
Skip.
They rate him higher for his whole body of work for the year than Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, who's going to face Tom Brady yet again this Sunday at Carolina.
Played well.
Has he played well? He outplayed Patrick Mahomes at Homeboy. He did. Well, timeout. Timeout. He had a QBR. You love QBR. You've been throwing it at me all week. He had a QBR, did Teddy Bridgewater of 89 to Patrick Mahomes 83 at Kansas City. And Kansas City was in trouble in that game late in the third quarter into the fourth. In trouble, and they pulled it out 33-31 because Teddy Bridgewater was dealing.
Yep.
You don't think he's capable?
Yes, absolutely he's capable.
Okay.
Let me ask you something, Skip. Throw stats aside. What did your eyes tell you? Through the first 9 games of the season, who's played better? Forget stats. Forget the 9 Super Bowl appearances. Forget the 3 Super Bowl, the 4 MVPs.
Tom Brady. I watch every snap of every game.
Hold on. You're saying Tom Brady has played
He's had a better year than Patrick Mahomes, who's been, as Pro Football Focus points out, wildly inconsistent. Up and then way down, like shockingly down. He's had 4 bad games by his standards. You're pushing him for MVP, and I'm saying, well, time out. What about that game and that game and that game? He lost to Derek Carr at home.
Skip, he scored 32 and 2 for 340.
Okay, but he lost.
Okay, your guy scored 3 points against New Orleans.
Okay.
Your guy lost to Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago has lost like
my
the last 5 games.
My guy destroyed Aaron Rodgers. My guy just completely outplayed Derek Carr at Las Vegas with a masterpiece of a game.
So you look at the games in which he's played extremely well. I'm looking at the complete body of work, his complete body of work.
All right, now back to objectivity here.
Objectivity.
I am ride or die with Brady, so I'm going to stick with him to just survive barely at Carolina. I'm going to call it 27-24, Brady and the Bucs.
Okay.
But I am here to say, with open heart, I'm just going to bare my soul, I will not at all be shocked if they lose this game. I think they are up against a division rival, and I am not sure that they can climb out of the deep, dark hole that they just dug for themselves against the Saints.
What game?
It was the game. It was as stunning a loss.
No,
okay, well, I told you. What did I tell you Monday? It was as shocking and stunning a loss as any I've seen since Peyton and company ran into the Legion of Boom in the Super Bowl. What was the score, 43-8?
Yeah, Skip, so you're not saying that they lost. It's the fashion in which they lost.
It was appalling. It was season-threatening. It was deeply troubling. It was as bad a sign as you can get this late in the year. We're about the midway point in the season.
Skip, it was one game.
Okay, but it was a complete and utter wipeout. And what troubled